Nigeria, info. Good morning to Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome back to the Morning Crossfire. Yeah, I stepped aside at 6:45. Yes, let's just say 6:50, as I was around with Tunji and the Story. And then Sports Gang, Femi and the gang did their thing. Ably represented by Chuma Nolly and Serafina Napoleon on Sports Drive. Now I'm back now, and it's time for us to get talking again on the Morning Crossfire. Yesterday on the Crossfire, it was quite heated. It was an interesting conversation that we had on the Crossfire yesterday, where we talked about. We tried to answer the question whether Nigeria can have sustainable, energy sufficiency. Right, yesterday, and it was quite heated. We dealt with the history of the generation of electricity in Nigeria. We broke it down to how we have traversed the journey towards sustainable electricity and sufficient power in Nigeria till this very moment. We spoke about a few things. The tariff issue was also, talked about. The issues surrounding the Gencos, the TCN, and of course the Discos we also talked about. The intrigues that actually play every day, that play out every day in that space. We briefly touched on those yesterday. Now, it's time to deeper. Let's dig deeper into the power sector in Nigeria. Adegbenle joins me right now on Skype. He was my guest yesterday, but we couldn't finish our conversation. We couldn't take your thought at all. We couldn't respond to your questions and your thoughts at all. Adetayo, good morning to you. Thank you again for joining us on the Morning Crossfire.
Good morning, Sheriff. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Let me apologize for yesterday. It was due to some circumstances beyond our control.
Yeah. Thank you for issuing out that apology. So Lagos, it's time to bring up your questions. And Tayo, by the way, is the executive director of Power Up Nigeria. Power Up NG. It's an NGO. It's a consumer advocate NGO that deals in issues surrounding power and consumers' welfare as regards power in Nigeria. So Tayo is here, incidentally, and he will be shedding light on some of your questions. So today we'll dedicate the largest part of the program to attending to your questions and your thoughts as regards the power sector. So Tayo, yesterday we had such an interesting conversation. Just a recap of what we did yesterday. We mentioned that Nigeria started power generation 5 years after the United Kingdom started theirs. So you can actually say that we started almost at the same time. But right now they are far like years ahead of us. And we spoke about privatization as well, and you mentioned quite a few things that we did when we were privatizing during the Olusegun Obasanjo administration, and the money that it was touted to have gone missing, about $20 billion. Put that in naira, about 8 trillion naira. That's so huge not to see any significant impact of what that money could have done. But then again, you said that, before then, there hadn't been any spending, any investment in that sector. So it's understandable when you have to put in everything you've got to catch up with things that years of neglect that space has suffered, and a lot of things that we spoke about. Absolutely. But let's move forward and let's talk briefly, because I want today to be dedicated, solely, to our listener who couldn't get through to us, and those that asked some questions yesterday that we couldn't attend to them. But let's because yesterday we also mentioned the fact that you can't rule out some intrigues, some cards being dealt in that sector. We can use the word politics for the sake of this conversation. Where does politics come in, Tayo, in the power sector? Because I would think that it's business. Power is business. So why do we always say that there is politics, especially in the power sector space in Nigeria?
I think the first thing we should try and put in the right perspective is the fact that there is politics in every sphere of life, and both local politics and international politics are all at play on this issue.
Oh,
So
wait. You mean we have international players dictating how things go?
Absolutely. Without trying to sound somehow, you don't want anybody to believe that the World Bank is, involved in the project without also understanding the underlying politics that comes with it. So that one is there. I mean, and let me also point this out clearly that Nigeria is so blessed. We have so many resources. We have so much resources that every right-thinking person keep asking at every particular point in time, if we have all these resources, why do we keep suffering? Let me also refer to the issue of the availability of coal in the country.
Right.
By the way, for anybody that's interested in knowing the truth, coal, energy, power generated via coal remains the cheapest worldwide. So you will now wonder, with the large resources of coal that we have, how come we're not using coal to generate power in the country?
Right.
Now, part of the interesting part of that for me is that up till late 2007, 2008, the Energy Commission of Nigeria still published a report, about how we can use coal to generate power also in Nigeria. But unfortunately, the politics that's involved, the intrigues and the politics that are involved, is beyond just Nigeria.
Who is playing this politics? Who wouldn't want us to generate power from coal, Tayo?
Okay, let's enter conspiracy theories.
Let's not enter.
But I can tell you for a fact that one of the challenges we've been having is the fact that the World Bank has said straight ahead that they're not going to fund any coal power plants in Nigeria.
Well, they had their reason, Tayo, to be honest. They're saying that it doesn't bring clean energy, that it emits...
You see, that's the point. You see, and I think that's one of the earliest fallout I had with some sector of the energy advocacy, because there is so much money being spent on us using renewable energy.
Right.
But you see, at every point that they are saying, don't start another coal power plant in Nigeria, we have like 2 or 3 springing up every year in China. As late as 2015, 2016, England, Great Britain, still imported as much as 30 million metric tons.
Oh my word!
Of coal.
Oh my word!
It's not Gary. They are not eating it. They are using it to generate power. They are using it to keep their power, the cost of their power. Now, if you don't have power, how do you run your factories? Right? If you don't have power, how do you create employment? Right?
Right.
If you don't have power, how do you create jobs for the teeming masses? So those are the parts of where
Tayo, just to put this in better perspective. So we have coal power plants springing up elsewhere in the world, but the World Bank that is claiming to be helping us is saying that we cannot have coal power plant powered by coal.
Exactly. But you see, where I also fault our policymakers is this: almost every household in Nigeria really runs their generator.
Very true.
With their attendant emissions that we are claiming to try to stop by not using coal. Presently in this country, we are still, even after many years of saying that we don't want to flare gas anymore, we are still flaring gas in this country.
Very true.
With the same attendant emissions that we claim that we don't want through coal. Now, so meanwhile, don't also forget that let me put it this way. Number one, coal is the oldest technology known to generate power in the world. Is the most stable, is the most researched, right? And is like I said, is the cheapest.
And we have it in abundance.
Now, for people that are saying that they don't want us to use coal to generate power, right? I think they're just being too clever. They're being clever by half. Because as we speak right now, coal mining, no matter how dirty we might claim it is, it's still going on in the country. Dangote Industries use coal to fire their plants. And they are mining those things in Kogi State. Now, you see, the truth is, the moment we stand up together and say, you know what, let's even get 2 coal power plants, right?
Yeah.
Then the government can now come up and say, you know what, we understand that there are implications to using coal, right?
Right.
Why don't you let us come up with some basic regulations that will ensure that it is handled in a proper manner?
Right.
Do you understand? Not the illegal mining that we presently have, not the illegal handling that we presently have. Now, that is one aspect of the politics of the power sector.
Right.
Now, they want us to agree. Yes, they want us to adopt
clean energy,
solar power, energy, and everything. There's no problem in doing that. Germany, that's been at the forefront of this. Part of the truth that Germany is not telling us is that their drift into renewable energy is politically motivated. Germany gets their gas from Russia. Russia at a point has gone rogue on the whole of Europe, right?
Right.
So they need an alternative to Russia's gas. Whose gas do we need alternative to? We have it. Whose coal do we need alternative? We have it.
We have.
Poland, that is the major power producer in Europe, because that's another thing that we're not looking at. Poland generates over 98% of their power through coal as we speak.
Through coal?
Yes. And you will never see Poland signing up to any of these all
these treaties.
All these Paris agreement, all these climate treaties. You will never see Poland putting. Even at a point, they were saying that Poland should be paying for climate, for CO2 emission and everything. Poland said, Poland kicked. Meanwhile, Poland generates power that serves Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, export.
Oh my word.
Do you understand?
They generate and even export it.
Yeah, exactly. That is part of what the economy is based on. Go to South Africa, for instance. South Africa generates presently about 96% of their power through coal. If you recall, yesterday we mentioned that South Africa was doing 48,000 megahertz of power.
Very true.
That is what the industries runs on.
Why can't we, Tayo, why can't we generate power from coal without the intervention of any foreign body? Even if it takes us having smaller power plants being powered through coal. How is that so difficult to do?
All right. Again, you cannot overlook the politics of this. Nigeria needs money from World Bank. We take loan from World Bank all the time.
Yeah.
Let me bring you to a recent event. You see this issue of we must have a tariff increase, right? It's not just because these schools are asking for the tariff increase. It's because Nigeria is broke, whether we want to accept the truth or not.
Right.
IMF, World Bank is promising us about $798 million loan recently. And part of the condition to it is that we should increase our tariff.
Right.
Now, I mean, if you hear that the federal government is intervening in the tariff, I can assure you in the next 3 months, we're going to have that tariff increase.
Whether we like it or not.
Whether we like it or not. By Q4, we're going to have that tariff increase. And that is because federal government needs that loan to come in. So, we have an economy that is not self-sufficient. We have a situation where our policymakers or our government looks more at money coming in from the World Bank, IMF loans, and all those things. We are dependent. We say there's no more colonialism, right?
Yeah.
But we are still dependent on this so-called world power.
This neo-colonialism, actually.
We still run back to them for everything.
Right.
So at what point are we going to stand up and say, okay, enough is enough? Or I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's develop this thing from inside.
Right.
And you see, that will take me to another argument that I had with some of the stakeholders in the power sector in the early days of COVID.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Today, the metering scheme map has stopped. Do you know why? COVID came on, China stopped exporting, and our policymakers in the country find it convenient to come back to tell us that because China has stopped exporting, therefore we cannot have meters coming into the country.
Right.
And you see, there was a presentation I have it. I've not completed that job, but it's called building our local capacity, metering local capacity.
Right.
So that we can actually meet up with this. What stops our regulators, our policymakers from saying, you know what, you have been a metering vendor for the past 15, 20 years. What capacity have you built locally? We have companies in this country.
Right.
I'm not allowed. Unfortunately, I'm not marketing for them, so I will avoid their names for now. Right?
Right.
We have companies in this country that can produce meters from beginning to the end. No external intervention. They don't even need to export anything. They have the materials in this country to provide from the plate. They will design the plate by themselves. They cycle by themselves all to the end of the production. What is our government doing to increase their capacity?
Is this still part of the politics of power we're talking about? Because it's almost looking like we have the solution here, but for some reasons, political reasons, what have you, some people are just bent on making sure that things don't work in this sector.
Because of the politics, the power play that's involved. I would rather send money to China. I'd rather send money to abroad to source for materials and make my own. Well, that's an allegation. Don't let me make it publicly like that. But you see, we have seen a situation where they are not doing. They're not. I don't believe they are doing enough to build our local capacities. Okay. Let me put it this way. Are you aware that there was a $90 billion? No, this is $27 billion, $90 billion metering intervention from CBN.
From the CBN.
Now, today, nobody knows exactly where that money is. There are insinuations, there are allegations, but let it be an allegation until it's proven otherwise. But as I speak to you right now, I remember personally asking one of the former NRC chairman, and he said he's not CBN, so he doesn't know. And I'm wondering, how can they give you an intervention fund to your sector? And you're telling the public that you don't know.
You have no idea.
If you take half of that funds and say, you know what, factories in Nigeria, let's do this. You will create jobs for our teeming youth. You will be solving a problem that is local. We don't need to be dependent on China for that.
Right.
There are not saying we can drill down further on this issue of metering alone. I can keep on
but Tayo, I told you that this metering issue, we spoke earlier. We will be dealing with this metering issue next week on the Morning Crossfire because we're not done with power. So we'll be talking about that next week.
I will be glad to continue to have that conversation, and I will be glad to try and bring in anybody that's involved in metering, so that you will know that we have the capacity. It's not a question of whether we have the capacity or not. In this country, as we speak right now,
yes,
I know a particular warehouse. I can send you pictures after the program. We'll put it. I've shared the pictures before on social media. I will send them to you again. We'll share them again and have conversation over it again. In this country, we have warehouses that have over meters worth over 3.2 billion naira just wasting away in the warehouses.
Oh my word!
Yes.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
We have to have this conversation next week, Tayo. But quickly, so that we can get
It's
thoughts
fine.
in
So
so that we can get thoughts in from listeners. This first 30 minutes is for you
now
and me. Mm,
on the local scene, right?
yes, yes,
When we talk about the politics, you see, again, well, unfortunately, I don't think I am qualified enough, right? Because Nigeria, we are very funny. They will tell you what does he know, so it's all right. But I will say this: since the inception of NERC, they've
yeah.
not shown enough commitment to the plight of Nigerians. They've not shown enough commitment to the plight of the power sector. They've not shown enough commitment to the issues that keeps cropping up.
But they have an
I keep saying
excuse.
something.
They said that they lack manpower to do all of these things. It's almost like you're giving the job of
My,
500 people to two men.
my brother, I can give you evidences of correspondences where we said, okay, let's assume that you truly lack the manpower in house. There is nothing stopping you from partnering with people. I mean, let me give you an instance. You put out a regulation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For instance, there is this recent regulation they put out that there is no more estimated billing, right? That everything has been capped. What efforts are our people putting into monitoring and evaluating the policies that they put out? Let's answer that. Yes, we agree that you cannot go all around the country to monitor and evaluate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have people that are giving you feedback. As early as January this year, I raised issues with NERC. Map regulation that you put out about 2 years ago is failing, and these are the reasons why it is failing. The feedback I got was it's not time yet to review the policy. So you don't wait until the policy is totally dead.
Right.
No matter how beautiful a policy is, you don't wait until it's totally dead before you take feedback from the field.
Do you think NERC is incapacitated by some circumstance that they are right now, or they are just plainly playing politics with the issue of power?
I would say it's down to politics. I would put it down to politics because there is no point in you seeing something obviously going wrong and you pretend as if everything is okay, or you pretend as if okay, everything will sort itself out. If you're not getting how would I put it, a contrary feedback from somewhere else to say everything is all right, don't worry, we'll be fine. You understand? So
yeah.
Yes, NDRC might be short-manned, so to speak, but I don't think it is the availability of resources, availability of feedback that's a problem.
Right.
The question is who is beating the drum that they are dancing to?
And you know that at the receiving end, it'll be definitely the consumers. Tayo, let's go on a break. After the break, we'll bring the news, and when we return, we'll be taking thoughts from people. They're already dropping their thoughts on Twitter. I can see tweets coming in and questions loaded on that platform. The questions are also coming in on WhatsApp. I can see them. If you got questions for my guests this morning, feel free to jump on the conversation. Let's know what you have in mind as regards the power sector, the politics of power in Nigeria. You've heard what we've talked about all morning, okay? At the other side of 8 o'clock hour, it'll be your thoughts, your questions, your submissions as regards the politics of power in Nigeria. Adegbenle is the executive director, Power Up NG, that's Power Up Nigeria. All right, he joins us again after this break. Stay here on the Morning Crossfire, 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. Other stations just mumble words. We talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is a paid announcement.
A multinational company in Lekki, Lagos is recruiting for the position of sales representatives. Are you an entrepreneur or a business-minded individual with great confidence and presentation skills and have a car with a valid driver's license? Grab this opportunity. Call 0815-705-0505 or 0905-637-4258 to be scheduled for an interview.
That has been a paid announcement.
The news update on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Students in their final year in secondary schools will be sitting examinations from the 4th of July. From the 4th of August, that's the day the Senior Secondary Certificate Examination SSC will begin. Other final year tests like NECO and NABTEB will also take place until the 5th of September. Food would no longer be served on domestic flights. The Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says it's one of the measures taken to curb the spread of COVID-19. He's also asking travelers to check in online.
We encourage you to check in online, print your own boarding pass, and come to the airport. At the point when they need to see your boarding pass, it will be you, the passenger, that will cut the boarding pass and hand over, so there is no contact between you and the person. There's also a screen between you and the people checking those boarding passes. So you will board accordingly, maintaining physical distancing.
That's right. Cross River State has recorded its first cases of COVID-19. 5 infections were recorded on Monday, a day after the Nigerian Medical Association decided to go on strike. Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Google, and Telegram all say they are pausing cooperation with request for user information by Hong Kong's police. It's coming in the wake of the imposition of a new security law by China. Several countries say the law threatens Hong Kong's long-standing autonomy. You can follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM, on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3, and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for more news. I'm Sheriff Quadry, and it's back to the crossfire.
We can no longer continue like this. The government said we should be indoors. They should also allow the food sellers and others to sell for us.
They will die of hunger before the coronavirus. Please, the federal government should please come to the aid of the common men.
Perspectives, a news and current affairs program which attempts to find a common narrative or maybe several plots tying Nigeria's major cities.
This government, they help these people.
The fuel 2 cost for us, they buy fuel 300 and a per liter.
Every week, our team of correspondents delve into the heart of the story behind the scenes, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It is the Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's time to get your thoughts in. We started this conversation yesterday, and we asked a question yesterday whether Nigeria can ever attain electricity sufficiency, energy sufficiency, and we got a lot of responses to that. Well, this morning we're looking at the politics of power, and my guest so far this morning, Tayo, has been shedding light on the politics of power thus far. And I'm tempted to continue to ask you questions, Tayo, but if we go that way, what happened yesterday will happen again. So let's not go that way, because I have loads of questions already for you on Twitter. Let's start with Adegbenle Lateef, who is sending in a question for you on Twitter. He said, I have paid for a prepaid meter since last year, August. Till now, they have not supplied. Why? Using my apartment to make up their monthly target. Kindly be of help, I beg. I am tired of this estimated billing system.
All right. He didn't tell us which disco. So,
yeah.
But we should respond and let us see how we can take it up. It will be very strange for him to have paid since last year and still not get meter by now. Because I know quite a number of people that paid even early this year and they got their meters already. So please tell us your disco and let us have the reference numbers and everything so that we can escalate to the relevant guests.
All right, Chooks also says, I'm very sure. Okay, let's leave that. That's for another conversation on our Twitter page. A lot of conversations going on our Twitter page. Okay, so Dr. Sam says, heard Nigeria gives some country electricity and they even enjoy it better than we do. How come we don't? Is this true? Taya, we hear all the time that Nigeria actually sells electricity to some countries.
Yeah, it is actually true. I'm very sure you must have heard about the West African Power Pool. But majorly, I think it's Kenji Dam. I think so. I'm not so certain, but I know definitely we supply power to Nigeria Republic, we supply power to Benin Republic, and stuff like that. It's part of the deal that we made before we could use Kenji Dam as a power plant. That Kenji River didn't start from Nigeria, and of course there are some other international politics that have to be involved before we can do that. Yeah, so yes, we supply them power. Unfortunately, I also understand that their invoice values too is kind of very high.
Yeah.
So I think the federal government should look at trying to bring in that kind of money. We need it right now.
Udehe Emmanuel on Twitter says, so Dangote can mine coal in Kogi to power his factories, but Buhari will not allow anyone mine coal in Enugu to produce power. Someone that is holding a person on the floor is also holding himself. Oyekachi from Iba sent that in.
Emmanuel should please correct this. It's not about President Buhari place. It is what he met on ground. This thing has been going on for years, so it's not a new thing. So it's not. That is part of the problem, and I believe that's part of the challenges we have as Nigerians. We should try and step away. We should try and step away from thinking in binary. If it's not yes, it is no. It is not. If it's not APC, it is APDP. You see, but what people on both sides of the device are refusing to understand is the fact that this is Nigeria. Whether APC, whether there is something that brings all of us together, and which is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Right. As
a rightful citizen, I have a right to have that conversation. So it does not matter whose president is there or not.
Yeah. So quickly, Ibrahim Abdul Kabir on Twitter, he sent this tweet in from Mushi, and he says, I would like to ask your guest about the Siemens deal in power sector. What is the deal, and when is it starting? Is there any sincerity there?
Yes, I love that question. You see, personally, and I've said it on so many platforms already.
Yeah.
Now that's personally. Maybe there's some things I'm not privy to, so I stand corrected. But to you and I want Nigerians to take this from me today, and they just write it down and put it in their left hand. There is nothing. There is nothing. There is no magic that Siemens is coming to do in this country. If anybody has ever gone through that Siemens proposal, you will realize that it is the same document that Honorable Minister Babatunde Fashola presented as Power Sector Recovery Plan in 2016. It's only worded differently, but in practicality, it is the same plan. It is the same thing.
Is there anything wrong with it?
We have a document that our own Minister of Power released as the intervention in the power sector as far back as 2016.
Right.
Only for us to now turn around in 2019 to say that Siemens, one vendor, will now be in charge of all your installations. Now, there are some other part. You see, this part of the politics that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I dare to say it publicly this morning that it is one of the problems that the really past TCN boss, Usman Gore, had with the powers that be in the power sector.
Okay.
Siemens has issues presently in the country. There are projects that he did that were never completed. There are projects that he did that were not even up to par. Now, that is the vendor. You are now putting all the hopes, all our eggs in one basket just because we believe that it is a government-to-government agreement. It doesn't work like that. And again, you see, I will repeat this again. It's part of the politics that we're talking about. Germany, even before the advent of COVID, we're already having economic problems. We're already heading towards recession. The only way they can get themselves out of that recession is to increase their spending. Nigeria, in our own wisdom, feels that the only way we can solve our own problem, which we already have a master plan on hand that we work with, even though I criticized that master plan at that point, was for us to now go to that same Germany, take only one vendor to now start intervention is in a transmission network,
right,
in a distribution network. How does it work? What happens to other vendors? What happens to when you now have to integrate the equipment that we have from other vendors on that same network into what Siemens is bringing? Personally, now this is my personal opinion, and I repeat, personal opinion. Again, I will beg Nigerians to go and try and read more on issues like this. But my personal opinion, I'm telling you, I am not expecting any magic from Siemens.
Let's go to the phone lines. Aditaya, 0700 993 993 993 is the studio line this morning. 9 minutes gone past the hour. And Lagos, they're here bombarding with phone calls, and I'm sure that we're going to have a great time talking to Lagos this morning. But one thing, though, when you're calling, a lady will pick your call, and she'll try to get your details. Please be patient with her and give her your details. It's just your name, basically, and where you're calling from. That's all she needs. And after getting your details, she'll patch you to the studio, and then we can have a conversation with you. Charles is joining us right now from Ikorodu. Hi, Charles. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I appreciate your guest on the studio. He's quite talented.
Thank you.
For me, quickly, I have a background into power. We do this CHP, that is combined heat and power.
Okay.
So the CO2 coming out of my gas generator, it is fed into a boiler that is used to power further, more power, so to speak. So why can't the government do that? That the waste emission coming from the coal plant, it is not emitted into the coal plant. Rather, it is rechanneled into the boiler system to continue to fire the gas plant. That's my question.
Oh, Charles, amazing insight into that. I mean, Ty, did you get that? Did you get that? I mean, it's the first time I'm hearing of that.
Sorry, recap that, please.
So he was saying that he also has a background in power, and he mentioned a process called the CHP, where the heat coming out from the the heat coming out from the coal plant can be used to regenerate more power instead of being wasted.
But the question right now is where are the coal plants that he's referring to? What he's talking about is combined cycle business, so that you don't waste any part of the. He's right, but you see, where is the coal plant that we want to direct the heat coming from right now? We don't have. So, well, let's hope that something can happen.
Let's speak with James. He's in Badagry. Hi, James. Good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, please, what I'm trying to ask, why is this very problem always being in Nigeria by our power? Since I was born, all these things power every time. My generation has been say up NEPA. All the generation now is coming is up NEPA, and the next generation coming is up NEPA. Why should it be like this? Other Africans that we are more better off than are progressing in power. We are still every day power system, power problem. And you know, with this power, our economy will be not growing. People that have some work and not even power their work, everything is going down every time. All the same problem. From Obasanjo regime, 16-point-something billion has spent. This Jonathan, all this every time.
A lot has gone into power in this country.
A lot has gone into power, please, sir. What is the problem? Is that a cause for Nigeria, or because of mismanagement, or what is the main problem?
What is really the problem, James? I get your question. Let's take Mohammed in Apapa, then Tayo will respond to both questions. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good. Thank you. And
you need to speak up, Mohammed. We're struggling to hear you.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Please, I want us to first, let's be optimistic. This present government, I'm talking to yes, that said he is not expecting anything positive from Siemens deal. I respect his opinion, but I totally disagree.
Okay.
This government has some precedence of delivering on projects. There is no project they promise and has actually not come out to be. So as far as I'm concerned, let's be optimistic.
Okay.
Let's pray and hope everything, as like I said, they have a good record of delivering projects.
Right.
And for Mr. President to let Abakari that and to go and sign this deal, G to G, government to government deal, they will surely deliver it. Let's be hopeful that by, according to Anjori, by end of 2021, Nigeria should enjoy relatively 70% of power stability. Because the problem we're having is the inability of the discourse to actually deliver on their infrastructural gap. They have not been able to meet up with. And this is exactly the production. The money has been released already. They have started production.
Okay.
They have done that to Iran. They have done that to Jordan. The same Siemens. So please, let's be optimistic on that. That's my view.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Appreciate your insight into this conversation. Taya, please hold on. Yeah, I know I said two, but Jonathan is already here. Let's take Jonathan quickly. Hi, Jonathan. Good morning to you.
Sheriff, how are you doing now?
I'm doing okay.
Good morning. I appreciate your guest for all this line of thoughts.
Yeah.
Africa as a whole, we have put ourselves in these shackles of these political world leaders. I remember I was saying during the advent of this COVID, I keep on making statements on this. Up till now, my country has not made a statement what China is doing. And I know the reason why they are not making those statements is because we've gone to them to borrow money. Those are the reasons.
Thank you.
I don't know why we Africans put ourselves in these shackles. I don't know. I don't know. And it's so sad that even to the detriment of their own people, even it's now what we are getting to hear now, even in the power sector, this thing have to play. It's very unfortunate too. And I also want to, as a people, and it's very sad, as a people who don't have a meeting. Now one man is saying, what will that your guests do for us? All of us as a people, what are we going to do for ourselves? If we say we should get on the street now, some people say, no, if you go there, we will not go support. They will say, go. They will just remove shock. You will just be flowing on your own. If we don't have a meeting point as a people, decades into decades, we'll suffer as a people. That's just what it is.
Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it. So, Taya, let's have you respond to all of those comments by previous callers.
Well, the last caller made a very sensible point. I'm sure I also referred to it yesterday when we were speaking, when one of the callers yesterday said that we should act. But you see, the question is, how do you act when some people believe that because they can afford it, they went ahead to be paying more tariff without minding what effect it's having on other people?
Right.
I mean, some people are so bold not to even come out and say that if you have money, just pay so that they can give you light like that. Is that the way it should be? At what point do you understand that there is something that's called commonwealth? It's not. See, Yoruba people will say, "Olowo kan laarin otoshi mefa," as in one rich man surrounded with 6 poor siblings. He is as poor as them. You can only be rich. You can only be rich when you have empowered those other ones as well.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So it is not about somebody in Magodo or in one funny estate saying because I can pay so amount to anybody else, I don't care about you.
And power,
there is equity.
Power is a social infrastructure that should be given to everybody, like everybody. It shouldn't matter what your social status is.
Yes, it is a social contract, right? But at the same time, it's business. So we have to be able to balance the two whenever we're taking our decision.
Right.
So he's right. We need to act. All of us need to act. And I keep saying this, and I've been saying this for going to 7 years now. You see, the first thing we need to do is make sure you learn about what is happening in the power sector without politics. Now, the other man that said something about we should give, I understand, and like in respect for opinion, I also respect his optimism.
Right.
But the question is, what is your optimism based on? End of story. I'm not, like I said, I'm not into this because of politics. People that are following Power Up know that Power Up started right under PDP and has evolve over the years. It is not about politics for me. It is about doing the right thing, about doing implementing the right policies, and making sure that Nigerians are well taken care of.
Let's go to Facebook very quickly, Tayo. Wanwike Chukuma on Facebook says, our power sector needs technocrats to handle it. We need to bring in more ideas like using renewable energy, and countries use wind power generation, solar power generation, and water. Coal affects the ozone in carbon emissions, and he said, stop promoting it. Olabisi Adeyemi Akonde says, yes, we signed the Paris Climate Agreement, which does not encourage coal as a source of electricity generation. And Yakubu Habu Sule said, oh yes, a quick brown fox jump over the lazy dogs. All right, that's a comment there. Chidi Isikaku on Facebook says, Nigerian politicians have been playing with the power of this country, and he says we can solve it by prepaid meter in every household. Let's get back to the phone lines quickly and take more calls. Hello, good morning to you. Oh, we lost that. Do try and call us back if you can, all right? We would appreciate it. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Okay, my name is Grace.
Your name is?
Grace.
Grace.
From Malakwe.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I want to find out that is it possible, just like as we have in communication, to have the electricity companies to be different, instead of Ikeja electricity distributing to a particular place, you have options to choose from, just as we have in communication.
Even within that space, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Even within that location,
space,
you can have different options.
Different options. So we don't just have just one option.
Okay.
That's to break that monopoly. I think when we break the monopoly, power will become better. Is it possible?
All right.
I agree.
Thank you, Grace.
It is possible. It is possible. The interesting part of it is that NRC has been playing around with some regulation recently that they've not, for 2 years now, they've not really come to agreement on how to implement it.
Okay.
It's called disco franchising, which is meant to kind of break the discos down a bit further, right? The idea is to take a franchise of a place, Shomolu, for instance. You can decide to take power from Ikeja Electric, or you can decide to take power from alternative sources to serve those people in your area.
Right.
Now, those are the kind of things. You see, again, so it is possible. Let me answer that straightforward.
Okay.
But you see, it is part of the things that I believe, that I've also pushed, or I also believe that that's why it's called power sector reform.
Okay.
So whoever signed that claim of disco monopoly,
territory,
regional monopoly,
right?
I think we should actually ask that person. What exactly is that?
Share yesterday, Tayo. Share yesterday. I was talking to you. I was asking you that the kind of people that strike deals in this sector. How did we come about them? But then you said that these deals sometimes they have international best practices. Isn't this one of those international best practices, style?
Now let me say this, Sharif. You're as good as who your advisors are. All right.
Right.
You're as good as the resources that you have available to you. This is another aspect of the politics I was talking about. There was a point when the oil and gas companies were going around the country saying, look, the best solution to power in Nigeria is for us to use gas. And you ask yourself, yes, we want to use gas, but how many gas pipelines do we have?
The infrastructure.
How much are we going to invest in gas pipelines? Whose interest are those gas pipelines going to be in? Things like that. Where is that money going to come from? We have similar things in every sphere of life.
Right.
Where when you are taking a decision, the superior argument at that point usually wins. But you see, what should stand you out is your ability to look at your decision at that particular point and say, you know what, this is the feedback we are getting from the market. We believe that this is for us to go. In 6 months, if you find out that something is wrong with that policy, or the policy is faulty,
right,
or the market throws back. In fact, let me now go back to I'll finish this line of thought, and I'll now go back to part of the major argument I also believe that we should also not take cognizance of.
Right.
If you do a policy and it's faulty, right? It's now the onus is on you to go back and say, I'm reviewing this policy for so and so reasons. Now, power sector reform, privatization was a blind alley for everybody in Nigeria. Nobody knew what was going to happen in the lane. But we had a situation where
job was it to know? I mean, Tayo, this excuse is just untenable. Some people are in government to know what was supposed to happen down the lane. I mean, it wasn't the first time it's going to be done in the world. So there are antecedents for something first. Okay. I'm holding. Okay.
I'm coming up with a line of maybe when I finish, you understand where I'm coming from. You see, we are all going down the blind alley. When the administration that started the privatization, I don't want to mention them again so that they won't say I've never met the man before in my life, so I don't know why. But you see, the administration that started the power sector reform, right, knew what we had on ground as at then was NEPA was not working. NEPA was a cesspool of corruption. NEPA was a pit of money wastage, right? So what do? Do we continue this lane, or we reverse and try and find alternatives? So the government said, let us do power sector reform.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it was a journey. It was a journey to the unknown. It was a journey from the known into the unknown. But we had an expected result at the end that we were expecting, right? So we started. Now, World Bank again, let me refer to World Bank again, that happens to have done and do power sector reforms across the world, came up and gave us scenarios. And we went with one. We adapted one to Nigerian situation, and we went with one where we now have the 11 discos, 5 gencos, and 1 TCN, 16 or 17 companies then that came up. Also, okay, don't let me stop there. Now, we had those and we started moving. Again, there's an argument that I keep popping up. As at the time we are signing our Electric Power Sector Reform Act in 2005, right? Subjected it to the market.
Say that again. Say that again.
By the time we are signing our 2005 Electric Power Sector Reform Act into law,
okay,
we have not subjected it to the market.
We have not subjected it to the market.
Yes, of course. Whatever law you make, you know that when it enters, whatever law it is, when it enters the practicality, my science background tells me that you form your hypothesis, you subject your hypothesis to experiment. The results from the experiment will determine whether your hypothesis was right or wrong. Now, if you're wrong, if it was right, you will say Eureka. If it was wrong, you will look at the factors that might have changed.
Okay.
That's why any science experiment will tell you under normal condition.
Yeah.
We know what the temperature is, we know what the pressure is. So that when the temperature changes, we will know what factor will change in the result.
The
law was formulated with the expectation that it's going to work like this. But by the time we entered into the market, into the active playing of the market, a lot of those things actually changed. One of them is the fact that the discos, when they came on board, will not be able to meter Nigerians. One of them is the fact that the assumptions that were made on dollar, on inflation, all changed within a factor of years. But one thing that annoys me or gets me angry when I talk about this particular issue.
Yeah.
NERC that was saddled to rock the baby, to bring. I mean, he was given a new baby at birth, which is the power sector reform. That was meant to nurture the baby to growth. They themselves were at a loss. 2005. This is 15 years later. Nobody from NERC to the National Assembly to say what we signed to law in 2005.
The
market is not working exactly as we had expected.
They kept quiet.
You understand? So let us change it. Rather, they keep wriggling and doing what I used to call knee-jerk reaction. When we realized that fixed charges was not working, what they came up was that if you don't have light in 15 days, cumulatively or straight, that you should not pay fixed charges. But guess what? Who is monitoring that? How do you effect such policy? That one too went under the water like that, and we just forgot all about it. Until eventually got to that point where, we eventually got fixtures removed.
Right.
Here comes metering. When we are coming in, we expected that the discos will meter all their customers. Only for the discos giving us excuses, importation, forex, Today, metering gap has increased instead of reducing. Why is the NERC not reacting as at when due? Again, I also say this. When last have you heard about from ECN? ECN is supposed to be a think tank. ECN is supposed to be like a policy review mechanism. Okay. When they sit down and do their studies and say, okay, this thing that we assume is going to work like this is no more working like that. When was the last time you've heard from them?
Tayo, please hold that thought. Yeah, we need to take a break. After the break, I mean, you've said quite a lot. But when we return from the break, we'll take more thought from Lagos listening to us right now. Stay here on Nigeria Info. It's the Morning Crossfire.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
Other stations just mumble words. We talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Yes, we're back on the show Morning Crossfire. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Adegbenle is on the show via Skype. You can watch this show right now live on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Nigeria Info FM. You can watch us live right now. You can also watch us on Facebook and drop your comments there. Drop your questions there. Oh my goodness me, Taya, you're in trouble. I got loads of questions for you on Twitter right now, and they're just going out of control. But let's get to the phone lines. Then we go to socials in a moment. Comments, please drop them on YouTube and Facebook. Twitter is also there at Nigeria Info FM, or just WhatsApp me. The WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805. Let's get to the phone lines in a moment. Hello, good morning to you.
Morning to you, my dearest Sheriff.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing okay.
Your guest is in the studio or on phone line?
On Skype.
Okay, that's good. My name is Prince Wyatt, calling from Amuodofin. I'm joining him now. I want to ask you a question from your guest.
Okay.
When is solar our PTN? Number one, is demand part of the Disco and Disco organization?
Is what?
Demand in your studio. Is it part of those who bought our PTN?
No. Okay. It's just a consumer advocate when it comes to power. Yeah.
I want to ask a question for him now.
Okay.
Because before the solar our PCN, they said they spent $16 billion for this project. At the end of the day, it was sold off. How much did they sold? I want to know how much did that government sold our PCN? Because what I'm asking those questions is this. If we sold our PCN, those who bought it, they must pay some amount. And that amount, it says they spend it to the same project, or they put it another thing. That's what I want to ask.
Okay.
Because things not working, and I want it to work. That's why I told this question.
All right. Thank you. Let's speak with Chika. Hi, Chika. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, I guess. I think
Good
the problem
morning.
with the power sector in Nigeria, I think is multifaceted. First and foremost, I want to suggest, isn't there a way that we can just remove this issue of power from this exclusive list from the federal government?
Okay.
Because I think that is one of the major problems whereby we will never achieve the 24 hour power supply in this country. Because the federal government has been handling this thing for how many years now? We've not gotten any breakthrough. I think it's until we did what we did in the telecommunication sector and the power sector.
Right.
I don't think we will ever get this 24 hours power supply. Because year in, year out, one administration to another, we keep on hearing the exchange rates, we are signing this agreement. How many agreements have we signed with the Siemens in the past? Why has it not yielded any results? And we're about to sign another one again. I mean, we've signed enough of agreements. Let us do the needful. Let us remove this. Let us unbundle this power sector once and for all. Remove it from the exclusive list.
Thank you, Chika, for calling. Appreciate it. We're going to make this very brief so that we can take as many thoughts as possible. Raphael Osai on YouTube says the issue with us is leadership. Leaders who can't enter into agreements without getting us further indebted and keep running to the World Bank for loans. If we get leadership right, we'll get it right. We'll take one more call, Tayo, then we'll respond to the three questions at the same time. Mr. Vincent is in Apapa. Mr. Vincent, good morning to you.
Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to the guy, your
my guest, Adetayo.
Yes. You know,
Good morning.
We are all missing the whole thing here. I can see you are being very diplomatic, and the other guy from the other end in choosing the word. They are suspect. I mean, the government
and I really want to hear what you have got to say. I really want to hear what you've got to say, but you have to call me back. Tayo, quickly now, I wanted to respond to the two calls so we can take more.
Let me start with Chika. It will be interesting for him to know that power is not in the exclusive lists in the Constitution. So the question should be directed at what our state governors are doing to also pitch in in the power sector. Again, don't also forget that all the three tiers of government, federal government, state government, and local governments, they all have shares in this discourse. It's not just the federal government that have shares.
Okay.
So, and a number of states are trying to localize the power sector reform act. Lagos have theirs. Ekiti has done theirs.
Right.
Edo State has done. Nasarawa too, they have done. But that's, for me, that is 4 states out of 36. What are others doing? I don't know, but if any one of them is listening to this program this morning, they should also, I think they should go back and look at how they can internalize the power sector reform and help themselves. It's just beyond leaving these things to the federal government or to the GENCOs or to DISCOs. We need to also localize what the law says. So it is not in the exclusive list. It's actually the concurrent list.
Okay. Let's see. Dapilo is on Twitter. Dapilo says, coal is cheap, but its devastating effect on environment outweighs its benefits. In Europe, where coal has been in use for centuries, have plans to shut down their plants, and budgetary provisions are being made reclaiming their land. That's Dapilo digging deep into that conversation of coal. Morning, guys. I don't
really want to go into that argument of coal or no coal.
Yeah.
You see, we have to take a decision. What is our interest? National interest or international interest? What most people don't realize is that it was the coal industry that was behind the move to get Donald Trump into presidency in the last election, 2016. It was the coal industry, and it was because of one promise. In fact, if you followed Trump very well, the very first statement he made when he became president was America first.
Right.
We are going to vamp our coal industries so that our industries and manufacturing companies can come back alive. No matter how controversial Trump might be, one thing for me, that one card he played that I seriously bother myself about is the fact that whose interest are we talking about? Nigeria's interest or the world interest? The person that I just quoted you, coal power plants are closing down.
Yeah.
Should also go back to where we started from. South Africa is not shutting down any coal plants. China increases. India increases. Australia's economy is run by coal. Poland in Europe, they keep on doing that. You see, one thing our policymakers and whatever arguments we are going to make should take into consideration is this. Even Germany, they are trying to walk back. Their grid infrastructure is supported by coal. Is run by coal.
Right.
So we don't have anything. We don't have industries, and unfortunately, we are the most populous black nation in the world. Our population keeps increasing. We have jobless youth, and we are arguing and about material things. And again, I also put it this way: why don't we let's run our coal and mop up all the generators that are running and diesel, petrol, and everything, fumes that we are doing that
we're currently doing. Right. Tayo, a quick one. A quick one, Tayo, because it's not a quick one. What's your thought about running one national grid as against mini grids?
All right. I've spoken about this on several occasions. I've spoken about it on several things, on several platforms, recommendations to the federal government and everything. And my recommendation still stays the same. We don't have any reason to run one national grid because it doesn't make sense that you generate power from Penji and it has to go to the National Control Center in Oshogbo first before it is shared. It doesn't make sense that you generate power from Port Harcourt or Adegbenle, Lagos, and everything has to come to Oshogbo first before they redistribute. It does not make sense. America has about 11 national grids that they run, ISOs and stuff. Brazil has 3. I mean, I'm looking at countries that have similar landscape with Nigeria.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Mexico, they have 2. You understand? India, India's power structure is a bit different from Nigeria's because India is localized. It's states that generate power. Each state generates power and share.
Okay.
So why can't we break our national grid down so that we can have whatever investment you are bringing in? If you're going to use it for the northeast, let's say you do it in three places. You bring north central, northeast together.
Right.
North central, northeast together, northwest, and like that.
Yeah.
And we bring them. The investment you are bringing to run your segment alone will not be as big as much as the investment you're going to bring to run the national grid as it is. And let the government just go into the job of, in fact, let them at that point match NERC with federal with the ministry.
Right.
You understand? So that we can have effective regulation. And at that point, because government is no more an active player in the industry, there won't be any because it's not federal government did not do their part of the deal. That's why we are not doing this also. All those excuses will not arise anymore. You understand?
Yeah.
So the question on national grid, my position is break it down. Let's make it smaller. When we generate power from Adegbenle, let it serve Ogun State, let it serve Lagos State, let it serve Oyo State, and maybe adjoining. And if we now have excesses on those grids, we can now start selling to adjacent grids. I think that's the most effective.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines very quickly. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Good morning. What's your name? It's Nigeria Info. What's your name?
Nigeria Info. My name is Hans Armstrong.
Okay, Armstrong. Welcome.
Thank you. I have just a few questions. First is that I have a prepaid meter. I traveled for a training for about 9 months, and when I came back to recharge my meter, the PHCM said my meter is indebted to some VAT. And I wonder, how can I pay VAT on what I didn't buy? That is one.
Okay.
The two is that, why is it that it's like a tenant buying prepaid meter for landlord now, and landlord will be buying meter for the houses. And when a tenant gets his meter and the PHC and he wants to leave that particular house to another better place, and the PHCN is saying that he cannot move his meter that they bought his own name and documents, he cannot move it to the new apartment. And the third one, I've forgotten the third one anyway. That's just the two I can remember.
It's all right. Let's have Tayo quickly on this one. We have somebody else waiting on the line right now. Let's just take Ada. Let's just take Ada. Hi, Ada. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to ask a few questions.
Yes.
What does it take for the states to take over and start producing their own, generating their own light?
Okay.
Because I know Enugu State has coal. And it's like they are not thinking outside the box. Okay. Another thing is, can they please go public so that all of us will enjoy the money that we are making, and then we can have an independent accountant and auditors look into the account so that they don't keep, everybody will enjoy whatever they are making and we are still paying for it. Do you understand?
Right.
It's as if they don't want to go public. They should go public and stop asking government for money. Do you understand?
Thank you, Ada, and that's brilliant, actually. Taya, let's have you respond to Ada and Armstrong's thought.
Ada's thoughts is so spot on, and of course, it's part of the things that we have also been asking for.
Right.
Unfortunately, throwing that line, we are going to. Let me say this publicly right now.
Yeah.
And I hope Nigerians will pick it up and let's make it a serious conversation for discussion. The BPE Act, right, under which all the privatized companies were listed and in what format they will be listed, dictated that the discos should be privatized at 40, 20%. 40 to the government, 40 to core investors, and 20% to the public. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Good. You see, unfortunately, somewhere along the line, that figure changed to 40 to government and 60% to core investors. We need to ask questions. My organization have sent in FOI request to BPE,
right?
And BPE has responded.
Right.
COVID actually paused our further actions on that issue.
But
you see, for an act to be changed without an amendment from the National Assembly, I think it's a criminal thing, and it should be looked at seriously.
Okay.
So yes, there was a provision that the members of the public will be able to buy into the discos at the inception.
Okay.
Well, somewhere along the line, this was scuttled. We are still doing our investigation. We are still doing our digging. We are still asking our questions. And hopefully by the time we are finished, we are through, we'll be able to publish our true positions on that. But what the BP Act asked for, Public Procurement Act asked for privatization for discos was 40% core investors, 40% government, 20% members of the public. Let's see how far we can drag that. But this conversion also needs to be had.
Right.
That is on the first one.
Right.
On the issue of what are the states doing? Well, again, when they are doing something, we'll be able to speak about that.
Yeah.
I've just told you about what we know about states that have localized the power sector. Even though, yes, they only take some aspect of it, consumer rights, regulation and everything. But yes, it's a start. And we can also build on it. I'm expecting my state or your state to also do something on this. On the issue of the man that paid for that,
Armstrong.
Unfortunately, he's still not online. I would have loved to ask him at what point, what happened? Was that backlog, was it on it before he was given a meter, or was it after? Now, on the issue of tenants buying meters and everything, you see, this is part of the issues that we raised when we were talking about when you're forming a policy and when it gets into practicality, what are the changes.
Right.
My organization have published several positions on this thing. Our initial position when we were pushing for independent metering service provider was what part of the things we knew were issues that we knew were going to be raised was who owns the meter?
Okay.
Who buys the meter? Can I move the meter? Now, at that point, the question is, do we need to change, the definition of who the customer is? If you buy a handset, for instance, you can move your handset anywhere.
Right.
It's none of them. So if you buy a meter, you should be able to also move your meter from one position to the other because it is your property, not theirs anymore. Because I paid for it.
Right.
The only time when I don't have any right over it is if and when I am paid back for that my upfront investment.
Yeah.
So these are the challenges and these are the issues that comes up that we've identified in the implementation of MAP, and we've asked for amendment of these things. But they keep saying, as of January, February, they are saying it is not time. Maybe if they're listening now, I agree that it is time for us to sit down and have that conversation and have that holistic review and have at the back of our mind that the idea behind these things is to solve a problem and not to create other
problems. I mean, the meter asset provider is just to make sure that meters are provided for the people and not to create all these controversies around it. Somebody is okay. Sorry, his name is David Ikuku and he's watching from Amsterdam, and he's said to tell you, Tayo, that you are spot on when it comes to EU and energy. What you said about European countries using coal to drive their economy, that you are spot on that. They are not backing down at all. It is what they want to use to drive their economy. David, thank you for sharing your thoughts and jumping in on this conversation. We'll go to and David sent that comment in from YouTube, by the way. David, thank you. Let's take one more call. Apologies to those waiting to play just a minute. This particular topic will not allow us to play just a minute because we are solving, bigger issues. All right, so we will not be able to play just a minute. We have lots of questions that are waiting to be attended to, and we won't want to, allow. We will try as much as possible to answer. We want to try as much as possible to answer, some of those questions, so Nigerians can get answers to their questions. As we await the next call being processed right now, I think his name is Joseph. Joseph, we are waiting. Okay, let's have you in, Joseph. I think Joseph is calling from, where is this now? Badagry, yeah. All right, so let's speak with Joseph. Hi, Joseph. Good morning to you. Joseph, are you there? Good morning.
I'm still conversing. I said from 1985.
Okay.
Now it's about 35 years ago. If you go and watch the last interview of Awolowo, he said they should decentralize the light of Nigeria. They should break it to pieces, so that every state can control its own light. That we have light all over. 35 years ago. This man in your studio now made mention of it today, that we should decentralize Nigerian light. Instead, should control one portion of the light so that we can have we can generate light all over Nigeria. Awolowo have said it 1985. Since 1985, he said it. Now we are still discussing it. The government have not checked that record and said, okay, there was something like this that was discussed. Let us try it. We are just trying go around. He's a Ondo man. He's a Yoruba man. He's an Hausa man.
We play politics with everything.
We play politics with this issue. We have people that are knowledgeable that can do all these things in Nigeria. We have intellectuals that can carry it out.
Absolutely.
If we have discussed, we have listened to them. 1985, go and check Awolowo interview. You said it. Till now, we are still dancing on it 35 years ago. We are still playing about the country mentioned here today. In 35 years ago, maybe some of them have never even nobody have ever advised them.
Right.
But they have practiced it and it's not workable for them. Why are we dancing around? Why are we playing politics with good things in this country?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Taya, we need to begin to go now, but I have one last question, and I will appreciate if you can be quite brief about it. Is there politics?
All right.
Is there politics playing out in the generator industry?
Say that again.
Is there politics playing out in the generator industry?
Well, it's a very simple thing. We have a problem, a very huge problem, energy poverty. It is a rule of thumb that if you're able to solve a problem, you will definitely make money from it. And the more money you make, the more powerful you become. So it is only a given that because of the failure of the national grid, the generator selling individuals or companies they have more sales. Like we already said, almost every household in Nigeria presently have a generator, one form or the other.
True.
So they are the one powering the economy right now. So when you say politics, what are you talking about? Do you want me to take away what from your pot of meat? You want me to take away your meat? Of course, everybody will play their own politics as well. So I mean, it's part of the problem that we are facing actually. But then you can't blame them. If the national grid works and you don't need a generator, or you need a generator, but in rare cases, of course, they too will divest and put their money into something else. They probably even come and join the federal government in generating power for the country. So it is only natural. I am actually humored and humbled by the last caller that said, I'm saying the same thing that Chief Awolowo said 35 years ago. It is. I think it's an overkill for me to be compared to such a man. I still read his thoughts and I get carried away. I get bamboozled with his line of thinking and the way he put his words. So I think it's an honor to be regarded to be thinking along that kind of man. Thank you very much, sirs.
Thank you, Tayo Adegbenle, the Executive Director, Power Up Nigeria. Tayo, how can people reach out to you? Because questions are still coming in. I'm seeing loads of... How can they reach out to you?
There is no way we can exhaust this conversation. But if you have further questions, you need clarifications, you need help, you need issues, you can reach out through via powerupnigeria@gmail.com. or use info@powerupng.com. The lines
let's spell the power up again. It's power as in POWER. Power Agbara. Power. And up UP.
Up. Yes, UP Nigeria. Power Up Nigeria. Power Up Nigeria @gmail.com or info@powerupng.com. I'm presently on a mission to some remote areas to see what can be done about their power. So my public line, direct line, is presently not too active. But for those that already have it, I can also say it now. It's 0809547 6620. You can always reach me on WhatsApp and we can have whatever conversations that we want to have.
Adegbenle, thank you so much for joining me on the Crossfires. In fact, back to back, Monday, Tuesday, and yet we've not still done because questions are still coming in. Tayo, thank you for coming around.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. Thank you, Nigeria Info, for having me. All
right. So there you go, Lagos. Nigeria Info's Morning Crossfire is wrapping up right now. Colin Steke will be here with What's Up Lagos. I am Sheriff Quadry. You can follow me on Twitter at Sheriff Quadry. Also on Instagram at Sheriff Quadry. On LinkedIn, it's at Sheriff Quadry. Let's have a conversation. Chat me up. Give me news stories. Let me see what's going on with you. Good morning to you.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.